What's good, everybody? It's your boy JSX4 here, and it's time for a Kakatsu story. The story that I've been telling for a good chunk of time now. Also, the story that has merch with the characters on it, and no one bought anything because F me, I guess. I'm just kidding. I know people have problems they gotta deal with, but still, buy some merch if you like to. But when it comes down to things, I'm gonna keep this intro brief because this is a long ass story driven part of the story so far. And I'm not gonna lie, the next episode might just be the end of everything when it comes to Junko, but also maybe not because it's gonna be a fat ass part of the story. So we'll see. But when it comes down to things, I'm gonna just keep things short. But I do want to ask two things. Number one, does anybody know why there is so much Ruby content on my timeline lately? Because I mentioned Neapolitan once, and then everybody come through with some nonsense about Ruby being base and don't give a damn about Yang and Blake's relationship. Which, oh, okay. And then, like, a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't necessarily understand it. So now I'm kind of piqued in curiosity about what the hell Ruby actually is. I remember watching episode 1 a long time ago, never went past that. But now I'm like, does anybody have a solid video on YouTube explaining the timeline of events between volume 1 to where they are now? Because I would like to know a little bit about Ruby now, even if I don't necessarily like watch the entirety of the show and series and all that type of stuff. I would still like to know what the hell is going on, because I'm not necessarily gonna lie, it slowly has piqued my interest now. Like, it has piqued my interest a little bit more than just the Gentai. So I'm kind of curious. If you know anybody that has like a video series explaining volume 1 to 8 that actually can do it well, please let me know, because I am very interested to know what the hell happens in Ruby. But anyway, and then the second thing is that I'm starting something called Bimbo Rampa. I don't know what this is. I just wanted to basically take the Danganronpa girls and just make them bimbos. Because why not, honestly? As you can see, they're looking fine as hell. Shiaki in the green looking super fine. I don't know why, but something about Shiaki in green looks great. But anyway, when it comes down to things, because Brave Bingo has Bangin' Rampa, I just say, you know, screw it, I'm gonna just have Bimbo Rampa because why not? And yeah, that's basically how that is. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these characters. I don't know if they're gonna be put into the story. I don't know if I'm just gonna use them for advertisement. I don't know, but we'll figure it out at some point in the future. But anyway, so, or at least maybe you guys can tell me what you would like to see when it comes to them. So, I don't know. But anyway, to briefly explain the story of what happened in the last episode, it was some fair amount of stuff that happened. Basically, Jay and Toko went on a date. They banged in public because of course they did. Then after that, Mukuro went ahead and tried to talk to Jay because she wasn't necessarily wanting to be on the side of Junko anymore, but she doesn't want to be on Jay's side. And basically, and she was just at a point where she just wants Junko to be safe, and everything else after that does not necessarily matter to her. Then Blue finally snapped, went into her despair state, and basically just violated verbally Shoko with just calling her useless and all this type of stuff, and was about to kill her in her own reality that she created after rejecting the reality of the safe haven somehow. And essentially, Jay was there to stop it, but obviously that's not gonna be enough. Shoko had to be the one to step in, use her actual indomitability for once, punch the shit out of Blue, and knocked her out of her despair state. And that's basically kind of where we are at the moment. So, good job on you, Shoko. But anyway, so we start off in the gym storehouse, basically looking for some items to procure once the whole Junko menace problem has been sorted out. So Yukari just like, the gym clothes are all here. And so Shoko's just like, why are we looking for gym stuff? And so I'm like, once we get done with the whole Junko thing and that's all sorted out, I just wanted to do a physical fitness day for everyone. I may have this world, but I don't want to be lazy and get too comfortable, you know? Can't have a fat guy just running around doing things. But anyway, I'm just like, I already know which groups to put everyone in, so everything should be all fine. And so Shoko's just like, and I'm just like, you still worried about Blue? And so she's like, how can I not be? I still feel bad for not stopping her before, and she also said a lot of things in that state. I know that's not what she really thinks, but it still hurts. Despite all of that though, I still want to protect not only her, but Yukari, you, and everyone else. I refuse to be a servant of despair. And so I'm just like, at least you now know what you really want to be. You control that power now, not despair. And as long as you have your mind clear, everything will be okay. You'll be an excellent indomitable hero. And so Shoko's just like, of course! Nothing will ever best me, especially now. Not even Mari. And so she's just like, so, I wanted to ask you something. As the ex-princess of Chusoko City, I wanted to know if you needed my, protection? And I'm just like, well, to be honest, I want to protect you too, so I appreciate the thought of concern. And so Yukari, to herself, kind of in a weird way, or like in a weird place in her mind somehow, and she's kind of talking to herself in some shape and form, and she's just like, shut it. And so she kind of ignores whatever is going on with her, and then basically faces Jay and Shoko, and she's just like, why are you beating around the bush, sister? I thought you wanted to ask him the question that Blue told you about. And so Shoko just like, sis, why are you saying that now? And I'm just like, what's the question? And so Shoko's just like, well, when I listened to Blue's past, she also mentioned that you and her took a bath together and made love. And I was just like, ah, god dang it, why did she tell you that? And so Shoko's just like, I couldn't believe it when I heard it, but it also made me curious. The two of you. To be honest, I'm a little jealous. Seeing you two together, I wanted to spend more time with you, but I thought I may be a burden to you. And I'm just like, Shoko, you aren't a burden. But if this is what you wanted, then you should have had said something. Do you want to be by my side? Not just for protection, I mean. Jay, I really want to be with you. Not just for that, but because my feelings are so strong now, especially towards you. And so Jay pulled her in for a sweet ass kiss, a wholesome ass kiss, and then went for some groping. Of course he did, because it couldn't be wholesome for 10 seconds, now could it? So basically Shoko's just like, the only time I don't mind showing my weaknesses, the only time I want someone to see me like this, is you, my prince. And so Jay just basically kissed her again, and Yukari was getting mad about this. And so Yukari's just like, don't hog him to yourself now, sister. Now hold up, I come through and cast a spell to beat the brakes off you. Hold up now. I want to express some of my love to him as well. So yeah, smashing session between the two sisters. But when it comes down to things, a lot of things just happened. Taking Shoko's first time, it was a nice thing going on. Jay noticed the womb curse spell thing that's on her. And Jay even asked like, yo, what is that womb thing that you got right there? And so Yukari said, and finally, you know, it's kind of explaining her backstory, what she kind of did to Shoko. If you paid attention to Shoko's backstory, if you watched that video, Yukari's just basically like, a spell to bound her to her lover, just like you and me. How does it feel to know you'll pound us as the last part of the royal family of our world? And so that's just kind of crazy, Yukari. You kind of going on the crazy tip. But anyway, Yukari basically rushing Shoko to hurry up and finish off with things. Shoko just getting it in, basically blasted off it on the insides, and then it's Yukari's turn. Basically, it's talking about she just riding this man and just going off like, how does it feel? Am I better than Koniko? I'm like, now hold on now, because we're gonna have to talk about this. But anyway, it became another good time. Basically to the point, even with Yukari getting banged the way she is, she started calling Jay Oni-chan and all this type of stuff. So it gets into some weird ass thing, honestly. Like it just gets into some weird ass areas, honestly, at this point. I don't know how to explain it in this. But anyway, we get to the final part of it where obviously the blasting off session happens. And at this point, Yukari just basically thinks of Jay as a sexually devious brother or something like that. And also, Shoko wants a part of this too. And now kind of considers Jay a part of family. Which, is this incest? I don't know. But this is getting kind of weird. But at the same point, it's some good coochie either way. So, anyway, we get to the next act of the story, and essentially, finally, we get to some serious stuff. And we see the blonde bimbo-ass bitch herself of despair, Junko, sneaking her way into the safe haven and going to a classroom. So she's just like, now then. And so she opens the door and Ajimu was waiting. And so Ajimu's just like, I was wondering when you would show up. And so Junko's just like, you always helped him. So now, you're gonna help me. And so, when it comes down to the Ajime just like, oh really? By all means, what do you seek from me? And so Junko explains her plan, and essentially, Ajime was actually intrigued. And she's just like, I see. Granted, I was never a hero or a threat, but I see no reason into not joining you. I apologize, Shay, but you are on your own from here on. So, how shall we go about this? And so essentially, that's leading to some bullshit, because of course it does. Oh boy. Anyway, we get to the next act where Blue is in the infirmary after her fight with Jay and Shoko, and essentially, she's just now starting to wake up with Shoko by her side. And so Shoko's just like, finally awake? Blue's sitting up, and Shoko's just like, it's good to see you're alright. I was afraid I may have hit you a little too hard. But you're fine, and that's all that matters. Jay and Sage were there too, and you were going off the deep end. And so Blue was just like, he was there too? And so Shoko was also like, yeah, he was. Not only that, you said a lot of things. Awful things. I know it wasn't you, but it hurts. You said I was useless because I didn't want to use my power. Someone who doesn't use it doesn't deserve to live. It sucks, you know? I just didn't want to hurt any more people I care about. I don't want to go through the same pain like that ever again. But I knew if I didn't stop you, you'd make the same mistake as me. I had no choice, regardless of how hard this was. And Blue just like, you're not useless. You're better and smarter than me. I'm sorry for saying all that stuff to you. And so Shoko's trying to hold into her tears, you know, trying not to cry, but it's just so hard for Shoko at this point. Because she did call her a lot of crazy shit. So Shoko's just like, I just... And so Blue holds her, and she's just like, please don't cry. It's my fault. You're my best friend. So please, don't feel bad about yourself and your powers. I'm so sorry for making you go through this. And so Shoko's just like, I know. But still. And so the two girls cry their heart out to each other, honestly, as a beautiful friendship. Not some Yang Blake shit. Not that. But when it comes down to things, as they're crying their hearts out to each other at the door by the curtains, Miss Saritame is there. And she's just looking back and just looking at these girls and just thinking to herself in her way. And she's just thinking like, these girls are definitely a tight bunch. Despair reached them and they still found their own way. And then she thinks about the powerful transformation that Jay has reached, this new level that he has with this purified form. And so he's just like, then Jay reached something only few in the multiverse can gain. That boy better learn quickly and understand what this all means. So Saritama knows something about that power that obviously we don't. What could that potentially be? Who knows? And the fact that this is only something that only a few people in the multiverse can achieve, that says a lot. So who knows what the hell that could end up being. But anyway, so we get to the next act where Jay and Tanya and Kaneko are about to head off for some lunch though. And so Jay's basically like, I don't see why you're so persistent about all this. And so Tanya's just like, because Tatsumaki ruined our date. And you want to go out and you went out with Toko. So I don't care what you want. We are finishing our date. And so Kaneko's just like, I don't mind, Jay. We're just getting lunch anyway. And so I'm just like, fine, as long as you're okay with it. At least I'll be able to see those strawberry-scented titties again. And so Tanya's like, strawberries? That's not me. And so Kaneko's just like, I smelled that too. Maybe someone was baking or something on this floor? And so I'm just getting up and I'm just like, whatever it is, it's making me hungry for food and some vagina. And then we start walking out to this damn classroom. And so a weird-ass voice come out of nowhere. And so this weird-ass voice that Jay hasn't heard in a while comes back out of nowhere for some weird ass reason. And so he's just like, you're not the only one. And so Jay was shocked about this. This bitch ass dude was like, nah, nah, that's not possible. This cannot be. The test result said nah, but he ended up turning around, and as you can obviously kind of tell with this one frame right here, who the hell it is. Issei is back, and this man says, "Gotta say, you're doing pretty well for an asshat, though you don't know how to clean up loose ends too well." And so Tanya is kind of shocked about this, but keeping her cool about things. Konako is kind of freaking the hell out because we know what happened last time. So she's like, "How is this possible? You're supposed to be dead. Your evil piece was..." And so Jay just getting mad, start growling like he's about to just whoop some ass, like he's pissed at this point. And so Issei's just like, "Yeah, I know. But do you think I didn't ask Rias for a backup plan? Only a dumb slut like you would be caught with your pants down. A decent sight if I remember." And so he continues on, he's just like, "Maybe you did miss me. I didn't get a chance to after that little ass, but today will be that." And then so Jay immediately did not care. He just dashed and choked the shit out of Issei without any hesitation. And so Issei just like, "Look at you. So stupid. You fail like you always do. Feeling sorry for yourself and shit." And so Jay tightened his grip, not playing any of this right now. He's like, "Shut it! Had enough of you coming to my world." And so Tanya's thinking about all this, and so she's just like, "Wait a minute. This don't make no damn sense." And so she's like thinking, she's like, "Didn't he die? If he's here, then why did he come here knowing that Jay would kill him?" And so that's when she sees something and starts realizing, "Don't tell me." And so Issei's just like, "That all you got? Don't be a bitch, unless Konako means so little to you. Give in to that despair, live in it, consume your hate for it, to abide by it." And so Konako's just like, "Wait, what is he saying? What's going on? That's not something he would say." And then Tanya realizes what the hell's going on, and she's just like, "Because it's not Issei." And so Konako's just like, "What? But he's right here." And so Tanya just like, really focus in on it. And so Konako tried to focus in on it, and then she finally realizes, "Oh my gosh, this really ain't Issei, this is somebody else." And so Konako's begging Jay to stop at this point, and he's just like, "I'm not stopping until he's out of my life." And so Konako and Tanya just screaming, "That's not Issei!" And so the voice finally changes over, and it starts saying, "They're right, you know?" And so basically Jay already at the breaking point of snapping their neck and basically killed that person, whoever it was to him. And so Jay actually afterwards figured out, "Oh shit, this really isn't Issei, is it?" And so he sees who it is, and he's just like, "Wait, Ajimu? What?" And so Ajimu, with her last breath, finally getting this man to catch on after all this damn strangulation, she's just like, "Finally." And so, with her last breath and a smile on her face, she passes away in Jay's hands completely lifeless. She did say the next time they meet would be when Jay would figure out how to, beat despair, honestly, and that was with the purified form. But wasn't a hell of a way to meet back up again, honestly. That's just crazy. So, Jay, in the complete shock of things, lets go of Ajimu, and she just falls onto the mat on the floor. And so he's just like, "Ajimu? I didn't..." And so suddenly, a body has been discovered. Oh gosh damn it. Anyway, we get to the next act of things, and now you probably know where this is going. Junko appears onto the monitor, and she's just like, "I didn't think you had it in you. As you can see, there has been a murder, and I think you know what that means. We will be holding a class trial to avenge the fallen Ajimu and uphold justice. I'm certain all the students watching will agree with me." And so basically, Jay's heart is starting to race at this point. And what is happening is the students of the entire school have seen Jay killed Ajimu. There is no denying it. There is no debate on it. He killed her, and everybody saw that shit. and now this whole thing is just getting broadcasted to the entire school, including Junko's message right now. And so Junko is just like, don't be surprised, Jay. We all knew that you would just kill a girl one day and follow those male instincts to hurt other people for your own selfishness. If it was just me, I'd be turned on. I've always been that way, but not everyone feels like that. Anyway, since her death was shown all over the school, the class trial will be different this time. We won't find a killer. Instead, you're going to convince the public that you aren't an evil asshole that you don't claim to be. And so Tanya's just like, she can't be serious with this shit. And so Junko's just like, if your party lose this trial, not only will you be executed, but also you'll lose the student council presidency and will be handed over to me, as I will guide this world to a brighter future. The thought of your death scream makes me want to come instantly. You and those girls will also be on trial, you know, the ones from the dream. They are also a part of this, and since they are also a part of you, we won't be taking any chances, especially if they try to avenge you or some crap like that. They will become servants to everyone in this world if you also lose. This is necessary in order to stop you from causing any more pain. And so she continues on, she's just like, you have 24 hours to use whatever evidence you can use to convince people to go to your side. Then the trial will commence. And then she starts cutting off the stream from everybody that's watching it and just leave it to Jay and her just talking honestly. And so she's just like, and if you refuse to show up, then you can kiss the traveler goodbye. And she just shows an image of Lamine being captured by Monokuma. Yes, this is our Monokuma. Shut up. This is our Monokuma. But when it comes down to things, Lamine is captured. You want to know why we haven't seen Lamine in a while? Because this is why. So Tanya's just like, so that's where she ended up? And so Konoko's just like, how could this happen? And so Jay's heart is starting to race even more, just breathing heavily and start going faster with it. And so Konoko's just like, Jay, are you okay? What's happening? And so Junko is continuing on, and she's just like, so unless you want another blonde bitch to end up dead by your hands, you'll show up. I not only look forward to our next meeting, but to see that power Sumugi has inside of you, and how it will go to me once you lose. I yearn for it, and I will make this and your world into my image. And then Jay, at this point, is just having an absolute panic attack. That's literally what's happening. And so Junko just like, until tomorrow, Jay. Despite all the problems you caused me, I still love you. And the stream ends, and Jay's just freaking out hard. And so Konoko's trying to calm Jay down at this point, and she's just like, Jay, just calm down. Tanya, help me move him to the infirmary. This is just too much for him. And so he blacks out and basically passes out through all this information. And so finally we get to the final act, and so Jay just wakes up into the infirmary with Konoko by his side, which a good wife would do. And so he slowly wakes up, and so he's just like, ugh, what the fudge? And so Konoko's just like, you feeling okay? And I'm just like, I think so. And so Konoko basically explained what happened after Jay basically passed out, because half a day is gone, and the trial is tomorrow. And so basically Konoko's just like, everyone now is trying to focus on the investigation or planning other ways out. Toko and I have been taking control while you're resting. We only have until midnight to get ready for the class trial tomorrow. And so I'm just like, I see. And so Konoko's just like, is there anything we can do to maybe get an edge on the class? And then Jay cuts her off a little bit and just like, the trial doesn't matter. That's not what Junko wants. And so Konoko's just like, huh? And I'm just like, I'm already the culprit, so really convincing the public is our only objective. And so Konoko's just like, but everyone saw you kill Ajimu. Is there really nothing we can do? Is it possible to prove everyone that it wasn't your fault? And so I'm just like, Sage. And so Sage's voice, she can't physically go to Jay because Junko got her on lockdown at the moment with firewalls and stuff. So she can only send her voice to him at the moment, which is something that Junko didn't think about, because somehow Junko's smart, somehow she's not. I don't know. She said one time that she chucked the whole computer into a microwave and nuked it for some reason, but you did make a hacking software thing, so I don't know. Anyway, when it comes down to things, Sage's voice reaches Jay. She's like, "Yes, master." And I'm just like, "I need to find some people. Help me track down their coordinates, please." And so she's like, "Of course." And so Konako's just like, "What are you planning on?" And I'm just like, if Junko wants to play dirty, then we need to use the same tactics as she would by any means necessary. And so Konako, not necessarily knowing what he's going to do, much less don't really like the sound of this, but she's like, well, be careful. Also, Monokumas will be walking around after midnight killing anyone who leaves the room on campus, so hurry back. I'll wait for you here. And so I'm just like, don't worry. I dealt with Junko before, and no way I died to something as stupid as that. I'll be back before you know it. And so basically, the next day happens, and it's the day of the trial, the day of the class trial, where things are going to be decided once and for all with Junko. And essentially, before we get to that trial, a flashback happens with yesterday, with Jay finding the coordinates of the people he needs to find. And so he walks into a classroom and sees one of the people that he's been looking for, and he's just like, you know why I'm here. I need to poke your brain for ideas on how to deal with Junko. And so Kirari, Momobami, coming through because she got a body, and she was just like, my, and you didn't tell Kanako? And I'm just like, it's less complicated. Plus, y'all kind of have a weird ass rivalry too, so maybe it will be best to just deal with this in private, but that's kind of besides the point. And so Kirari's just like, well, what do I get out of all this? Amusement? That will not do. And so I'm just like, then what? A playful tease at her expense will do nicely. You want answers, and I want to prank Konako a bit. We all win here now. And so she whipped out them titties, just looking great as ever, as they always have been. And I'm just like, y'all two will just F with each other to the end of time, aren't y'all? This is just what y'all do, ain't it? And so Kirari just like, you think of this as, well, think of this as, maybe I have the answers you may need, and maybe not. Do you dare gamble for answers with my body? And so that's basically the end of everything. So yes, very long, very tiring. Gosh, I have to re-record this. But when it comes down to things, yeah, a lot of things is about to go down. Basically, the class trial is about to go down, and whatever the termination of the class trial will be in fact the end of everything regarding Junko. Hopefully, I can knock it all down in one whole episode. It might be long, but if we can do it, then that'd be great, because I want to knock it out before the 15th of this month. So we'll see. I'm definitely gonna be trying to work on this as much as possible after I get done with this video too, and also just try to see how we can, you know, go from there. Because I'm not necessarily gonna lie, I've been thinking about different ideas of what we could do after, and it's mainly because I want to focus on the girls and the dreams and all that type of stuff in this fair with all that, you know. And maybe we'll have like side stories, and we could do certain like side skits as well, even if it's not related to anything in the story. It could be like side skits and things of that nature and all that sort of stuff, and maybe that will possibly get in people to come through and watch. Honestly, even if you don't know what Professor Story is, that will be kind of interesting. So, you know, we have plenty of plans. And also, with the whole thing me talking about Ruby in the beginning, I want to talk about Ruby and kind of like, well, not talk about Ruby like as in make videos about Ruby and whatever, but like I kind of want to put Ruby in the Kokatsu story, like the characters of the gang, so we can have something of that going, because I'm kind of interested in seeing how that could work out in a way, if I'm still motivated to do it. So, you know, that's kind of what I would see, because I'm thinking, what if Lou and Ruby just met? Like, that would kind of be kind of cool in a weird way, you know? Like, maybe, especially with what Ruby going through right now, maybe that would be like a character Ruby could honestly need in her life at the moment, you know? So that would be kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know. I'm just thinking out the brain with a bunch of ideas, you know? And then obviously once Junko's defeated, as you probably saw in the beginning, with Shoko and them getting like gym clothes and gear on ready and stuff, we're gonna have like a sports skate festival type of thing, and that's gonna be like, you know, a short OVA or something like that, you know? So we'll see how things goes. I got plenty of ideas of what we're gonna do after Junko, but getting through Junko is like the biggest thing in the class trial, with the dialogue in it and basically everything else that's gonna be added to it. That's gonna be the fat part of the whole thing, and it's gonna take a minute. So let's hope we can get that going. But anyway, that's basically all I really want to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and you like to donate to the channel. Patreon is available as well. Merch is also a thing if you find in the description. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.